I'm Tara, your friendly neighborhood kitch witch. Welcome to Recipes for the Cooking Impaired. Yes, you heard me correct, cooking impaired, because not all of us are professional gourmet cooks. And if you are a professional gourmet cook, I apologize in advance. This is not going to be up to your quality. However, if you are somebody that is not really great in the kitchen or has kitchen cooking phobia, like my camera woman who's waving her hands in the air saying me, then this is more a video for you. So those of you that are new to the channel, again, welcome. I'm so glad to hear that you're here. I'm so glad to see your beautiful faces. And if you are returning, you're a subscriber, or this is the numerous video you watched, you are awesome. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad we get to try something new. So are you ready to whip up some magic in the kitchen? I think you are, and I hope you are, because I am ready. I am going to help you do something that we haven't done at all on this channel yet. We're making a side dish. That's right, a side dish. Something that can go with some of the other dishes we've already made in other videos, or a side of anything. You can have it on side of a side if you want. No judgments here. And this is vegetarian, vegan friendly. You guys, I gotcha. And this would be great for Turkey Day as another option to go with your wonderful Thanksgiving festivities. We're making roasted autumn vegetables, and I've got a recipe. We're going to go through it together, okay? All right, so one large purple sweet potato. Now, sweet potatoes come in all different colors. The kind I opted for has a purple skin, which looks like this. But on the inside is orange. There is a Japanese version that would taste just as good, that has the purple outside skin, but is also purple on the inside. Also fine. You can use your standard yellow skinned sweet potatoes. That's okay. I opted for the purple just because it has some other nourishing vitamins that aren't in the other ones. Whenever you pick a vegetable with a different color and mix it in, you're adding more vitamins of different sorts to your recipe. And so I'm a big fan of let's intermingle all of these delicious vegetables. Next, we have 2 carrots. Now, also with carrots, you can do white carrots, you can do orange carrots, you can do purple carrots. You can intermingle them. However, I only had the orange carrots available. So this time, we're just going standard, and that's okay. 1 onion. For this, you don't want the sweet onions, so I would stay away from the purple onions. I know I just said intermingling all the colors is fine, but the purple onions have a bit of a sweetness to them, and this is not a sweet kind of recipe. So I would recommend the yellow or the white. I chose the yellow. All right, next you have 1 beet or 1 can of beets. Now, being that this is November and not the beginning of autumn, I've missed out on the grocery store beet option, and my garden didn't do beets this year. So I went ahead and I'm doing a can of beets. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. Fresh beets is even better, but we're going to make do with what we have, because that's what we do here as a cook, as a kitchen cook, as a kitch witch. You do work with what you have to work with, and you make do with it. And sometimes we have to try things that are a little unusual, and that's totally fine. Do you think any of these recipes ever existed before people tried things out? Oh, heck no. All of these started off with nothing, and they tried something and it was delicious. That's how you get recipes. All right, next, 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can also use olive oil in exchange instead, but I really like the smoothness of the avocado oil, and it really brings out the flavoring. So we're going to do that one. But if you're not an avocado oil fan, or you're in the kitchen, you're making this, you have everything except for avocado oil, but you have olive oil, then use the olive oil. Totally fine. 1 teaspoon of salt. This could be regular salt. This could be sea salt. This could be Himalayan sea salt. just as long as it's salt, and that it's ground. It's not coarse. 1 teaspoon of pepper, black pepper preferably. Half a teaspoon of rosemary, and half a teaspoon of thyme. I know that looks like thyme, but it's pronounced thyme. Yes, we're gonna need a little thyme. Time is on my side. Kidding. But thyme is a seasoning we'll be using in this one. 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and you want the kind that's not the vinaigrette, not what you're going to find in the salad dressing aisle. This is going to be in the same aisle as your red wine vinegar, your apple cider vinegar, things of that sort. It's thick. It's kind of more used more in a glaze form. The one I used looks like this. This one's Simply Truth Organic. This is not an endorsement, but it is delicious. Simply Truth Organic. If you would like me to do a little promo for you, hit me up. Totally game for that. All right, and on the bottom, as you can see, we threw another vegetable because last minute I decided we don't have anything green. We need something green. So we're also going to do 1 zucchini. Zucchini works really great with this recipe because it's not a real soft vegetable and it doesn't have a super strong flavoring. And squash and yams, they're like cousins. They jam together so well. So we're going to use it. And for my metric fans, I've got you covered. All right, give you a moment to take a look at everything. You're done. All right, guys, let's head over to the kitchen where we can start working on our delicious roasted vegetables. All right, so we have all of our vegetables and all of our delicious, nutritious items all together. There's beets over here. They just ran out of the shot for a moment. First off, we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 425. Yes, 425. This particular recipe will take about 25 to 35 minutes to cook, but it's not going to take us very long to actually whip it all together. So that makes this a relatively quick item. Okay, so first things first, we got our onions. This is what quartered looks like. They're not half, they're less than half cut. My hands are clean, so I'm going to pick one up. They look like this, not very big. We have cubed yams. Now, I understand you're looking at these going, but Tara, they're not all cubes. You're right, because yams are rounded. So some of them are going to look like triangles. That's totally fine. And then we have our carrots. All of these are cut about an inch in thickness. Then we have our zucchinis. And you notice these are not cubed. These are more like discs, sand dollars, pick whatever, circular type of analogy you wish. And then because we're using already pre-cooked beets instead of using the raw, if we had used raw, we would want to cut them up and also get them cubed. We're not doing that. So what I did, instead of getting sliced beets, because of one part of the time, these are already partly cooked, I don't want them to get super mushy while baking. So I opted for the whole beets. You can find these in the store in the same aisle as the beets that are sliced. Just make sure that when you're grabbing the can of beets, if you decide to do that instead of fresh, don't get the pickled beets. It will completely change the recipe in a way that I personally wouldn't recommend unless you really like the flavor of pickled beets, but it's not going to go well with the seasoning or with the balsamic vinegar because it's already vinegared. It's going to be overpowering. So please, 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 my friends, get the can, if you're going to do the can, that says whole beets, not pickled. All right, in this container right here, we have the balsamic vinegar as well as the avocado oil. being that once we put all of these vegetables in a bowl, we're going to toss them in with the seasoning and with the oil and the balsamic. So it's okay if it's in a container together. It's already been pre-measured. In here, this looks weird, I'm sure, to all of you, but that's because there is rosemary. Rosemary is those long, kind of stick-like looking seasonings. It has got the salt, the pepper, and then it's got thyme. Thyme is actually a very finely chopped, light brown colored spice. So that's also in here. And it's going to be so good. But with what we have with the balsamic vinegar and the avocado oil, you don't want anything super strong. We want something that's going to complement. So we're ready to roll. Now that we know that we got everything together, we are going to take out our special bowl. My favorite. I'm going to slide some of these out of the way, and we're going to put them in one at a time and then add the seasonings, and then we will stir it up. I'm going to put the bowl in place and we'll watch it in real time. All right, so we got yams, onions, carrots, yummy, yummy. And just so you know, while we were cutting up, my camera lady and I, all the onions, I felt like we were watching a tearjerker. We were just, our tears were just screaming down our face. It was so bad. Part of me kind of almost wishes that we would have filmed it because it was just crazy. So I'm going to pre-stir this, and then we'll add the seasoning and the oil and stir it again. Anyway, you missed out on some real funny. Okay. So it doesn't have to be stirred really intently, just a little. So we got some of the vegetable from the bottom on the top. There we go. All right, so I'm going to add in the seasoning first. Just sprinkle it on. Sprinkle all around. Wonderful. And we're going to stir that in a bit more before we add our liquid ingredients, our avocado oil and our balsamic vinegar. As you can see, this makes quite a bit of vegetable. This would be great for celebrating with the holidays. Plus, it's something different. I mean, it's quite a bit of food, good for a good-sized family, or an office party, or, I mean, I guess if you're just by yourself, it's good too, because you got leftovers, my friends. This is a good thing, and it's very healthy. So, like that. And again, finally, my vegan, vegetarian friends, I've got something that'll work for you too, without having to do substitutions. Yeah. So I'm going to put this on there. As you can see, the vinegar and the oil did not mix. That is normal, because oil and vinegar generally don't. So that's fine. Get a little bit more in there. All right. So kind of drizzle down. Now we're going to move it around. And don't worry if your vegetables now look kind of mucky. It's okay. They're supposed to, because they have a glaze being tossed on them. So, you know, they're not going to look quite as bright and gorgeous. But that's okay. Because sometimes when we get glaze thrown on us, we don't look bright and gorgeous anymore either. Ha 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 ha. Kidding. Hopefully none of you have had glaze thrown on you. And if you have, my sincerest condolences. I'm sorry, friends. That probably was not fun. All right, we are ready. So now I'm going to set this aside and bring the baking sheet out. This baking sheet does not need to be oiled. Isn't that lovely? I would choose a non-stick baking sheet though, because you're not using oil, which is good because you already have the avocado oil involved, so that's fine. So it'll be good for the non-sticking. So don't pre-prep this. Don't flour it. Do not grease and flour. Do not butter it. Do not oil it. Let the pan be a pan, people. Let it be a pan. And then we're going to throw vegetables all over the pan. We'll hit, and not Peter Pan. My camera lady said, "Oh, and don't let it be Peter Pan." Now we're going to beat the pan up. Throw vegetables all over its face. It's okay. It loves it. A little bit more. Stir, stir, stir. Then you're just going to kind of spread it out a little bit once you get everything on top. Okay. It doesn't all have to be laying flat. Just, you don't want just one mound of vegetables. So kind of separate it out a bit. And that is that. You don't need to cover it with any foil or a lid of any sort. Unless you really want to, you can. If you put foil over it, it will speed up the cooking process a bit. But it also can cook the vegetables too fast. So I personally wouldn't recommend it unless you're trying to cut down on time, in which case you're going to want to be checking them more like 15 to 25 minutes instead of 25 to 35. Okay, we're going to take our vegetables and put them inside the oven. And again, remember, we had preheated this oven at 425. Oh, it looks so nice and warm in there. And it's chilly out. I almost want to climb into this oven, except for that's really not a good idea. Don't climb into the oven, people. I'm not recommending this. But feel free to enjoy the heat coming off it as long as you don't touch any of the hot items. All right, we're going to put it in the bottom grate and close her up. And we're going to check back on this in 25 minutes, see how it looks. I'll see you in a few. Our timer has gone off. When you are baking, or even when you have something on the stove, I recommend using a timer. Egg timer, timer on the oven, whatever. It does help because it is so easy to get sidetracked. All right, we're going to grab this out. Woo! You can't see this, but smoke. Not smoke, but steam ran right up into my face, and it was just a whoosh of delicious smells. Oh, so good. Pull this out. Put it right here. Oh, so pretty. So this is how it should look. You want it to look a little roasted. You don't want it to look entirely shriveled up, but it is going to get smaller a little bit because it's so good. We're going to put some on a plate because I want to eat some. And as you can see, it's not stuck, which is nice. That's the benefit of using some oil in the mix. Get a little bit of that. I'll grab one of these nummies. Some carrots. Anyhow, you're going to dish yourself up a delicious helping. And again, this is a side dish. Put it with whatever yum you want to put it with. Your turkey dinner, ham, more wonderful vegetarian options. All kinds of it. I love the onions. That is one of my favorites, so I'm going to put a little more onion on mine. And since I'm sharing this, as much as I want to eat all the delicious food, I'm not going to. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I am so glad you joined me on this side dish experience. And if you vibed with this video, tickle the like button's tummy until it giggles with delight. Noozle that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our wonderful recipes for the Cooking Impaired videos. Also, feel free to hit the little bell so you receive notifications. Again, thanks for coming. I have missed your faces. It's been a week. Oh, it's been so long. Until next week, I will see you again soon. Big hugs, smooches, bye.